Hi there and welcome to Celeb Hut. So it seems to be Erica Mina. Safaree actually disdain one another, and truly, this doesn't come as a shock. It's been some time since we dished about Erica Mina and her ex, Safaree Samuels, yet think about what show is still sizzling between them. Erica just released some serious shade, blaming Safaree for being a horrendous father, and in any event, saying he's a threat to their children yet standing by. There's much more. She likewise called him out for being fixated on his ex, Nicki Minaj, guaranteeing he's actually following her 10 years after their separation. Erica let it all out and listened. She cooked Safaree and gobbled him up. So, has Safaree truly been following Nicki, and does he truly need her back? We should discuss it. Erica and Safaree could detest each other now. However, they used to frantically be in adoration with one another. They secured the bunch in 2019, yet their marriage was a hopeless train wreck. They ultimately got separated in 2021. However, truly it was a supernatural occurrence. They endured that long, and regardless of the disarray, they have 2 children together anyway. Erica is presently guaranteeing that Safaree is precisely near an ideal father to their children, uncovering that he has supposedly been a miscreant in any event. When they were together, we should simply say she's disturbed regarding it at all. Are you messing with me now? This monetary weight with my kids is all on me shows you who he is. You want to trust him when anyone shows you who they are. You want to trust them as he doesn't. Need to pee nothing of it. Nothing certain. $4,000 could appear to be a major load of cash to a few normal people. Yet we should keep in mind that we're discussing a VIP here, in addition to the fact that we as a whole realize Safaree's been enjoying a life of ease and comfort, so he's not precisely broke. Basically, it appears to be nevertheless bringing 2 children up in their reality cost way more than that genuinely $4,000. Likely wouldn't cover the caretaker, not to mention the entirety of their different costs since they picked intervention rather than an ordinary separation. Court, Erica had no real way to battle the case, and it didn't stop there. In one more episode of the Emergency Room, the last piece truly pounds at home. Safaree is an all-out deadbeat who's all the way withdrawn from his own children. He never gets some margin for them. Skims on kid backing nevertheless has the boldness to boo Shekinah when she got down on him, and when you figure he was unable to deteriorate his reaction to Erica's simply accepting, since this purported aunt and grandmother was visiting the area, my child would be great, right? How could it be that nobody got to take my child's twists out and watch his hair, particularly since he was in and out of a chlorine pool? Sister Safaree, you have no issue ensuring you a terrible B constantly. For what reason might my children at any point be dressed and prepared appropriately, as I accomplish for you when you have them a piece of being a terrible monster, is truly taking consideration of your children. So this is where I define the boundary you realize I can happen for quite a long time. With all the resentful ISS you don't accomplish for your children, since you believe it's a method for harming me, yet not prepping and appropriately dressing your children each time you have them is simply really abhorrent. She likewise shared a few photos of their children's hair, and I need to just let it out. Doesn't take a gander at all. She composed as of now be eating is the way you deliberately dressed my children so messy and modest on the grounds that you realize that is the one thing I invest heavily in external. They're schooling you in a real sense, fail to help them beyond kid, backing you don't pay for school, you don't pay for health or yet you guarantee you sell it. You never really chip in to help for their birthday events. You in a real sense skipped out on Christmas and Sapphire's birthday altogether this year. What you could essentially do when you really do have them is invest wholeheartedly in that and truly set forth some energy. You got this cash, so you tell the world, and you got this large number of jewels. Yet how can it be that when you have your children, they strolling around seeming as though this did gay grandmother and aunt not want to snatch a search for your children's sister? You all Erica wasn't keeping down. She continued to haul in Safaree through the mud, uncovering him for depicting himself as an ideal dad via web-based entertainment while purportedly being terrible in the background, she said. Safaree, you at last chose to keep an eye on kids on Saturday, and by Monday you were calling yourself and placing them in day camp. You realize I pay $2,700 per month for their schooling alone, that is, throughout the entire year. You know how I'm tied in with keeping their brains animated. You know I'm enthusiastic about them having a daily practice. Assuming that you plan to take them just to put them in someplace irregular, why not carry them to the school? You assist me with choosing, but don't pay for it. For what reason aren't you enjoying your children? You never truly see them, despite the fact that you live 30 minutes away. For what reason mightn't they at any point be dressed and prepped appropriately when they're with you? Erica was clearly a large menade. She didn't stop there. However, she too uncovered him as yet being fixated on his ex, Nicki Minaj. After over 10 years of separation, Nicki and Safaree dated for an incredible 14 years, and their separation was an exceptionally large wreck. Safaree even attempted to guarantee that Nicki was rough towards him and that she put hands on him so hard that he needed to go to the clinic, he said. Recall the night you cut me and I nearly passed on the police. An emergency vehicle needed to take me out of the lodging on a cot, and I needed to lie and let them know I was attempting to commit suicide so they wouldn't bring you to prison when things like that began occurring at least a couple of times. Now is the ideal time to plunge Nicki then. At that point, blamed him for taking from her platitude, "You took my card, and let me know you thought it was a record with free cash that I had close to." Oh, zero familiarity with "On God, God will strike you down," and something else for lying, quit saying you got together and left on Jesus. You came to my home, crying asking to go with me to Europe, to the MAs. I said no sham, except for it appears Safaree is as yet clutching some sharpness in a new meeting. He focused on how his separation with Nicki almost wrecked his life, guaranteeing that no one needed to team up with him thereafter. What might you say your greatest battle or obstruction you at any point needed to defeat? Like I'm not in any event going to sugar mentor like I was with Nicki. We separated so her fans and certain individuals, they simply cared about it to resemble okay, they not together. No more him, let him be nothing, allowed him to crumble, let him vanish whatever yet 9-10 years. After the fact, 10-15 television programs, later part of music out later entryways, up later dens like I'm still here, and you realize certain individuals could do without that they're similar to damn why actual life. Focusing on this, when me and Nicki initially separated, and she got with resigned, and they were like the greatest on the planet, and we was all hamburger completed. You gotta contemplate, I had two of the greatest individuals on the planet, like against me, so that caused everyone to be against me. Right, the entirety industry definitely. So it was like no one needed to be close to me. No one needed to like work with me or absolutely no part of that. So it recently made everything hard and I resemble that. Like that was a dim time for me. You understand what I'm talking about that way. Truly impacted you. Do you wish like you had stayed quiet about your relationship with Nicki? Even no one knew until sometime later. You understand what I'm talking about. Not too far off were rules like you folks. You were unable to like kiss face to face or like show warmth. Damnation, no. That wasn't so much as an idea. Erica then remarked on this and said, I will be humiliated for all time. I gave SES unimaginable wonderful children. He doesn't talk or think often about his seeds this much on the web. Or, in actuality, his emphasis on his ex, Nicki Minaj, more than his children, truly says a ton, and Erica may be onto something with these allegations. Yet you realize the fans are on top of it, and they accept even remarks saying this entire thing among Erica and Safaree won't ever not turn me, folks. He nagged her down, pursued her like it was a long-distance race, and talked about how he needed a spouse and family, wedded her, had children, to then turn into a low-life and poo husband. The switch is in fact evil. I am fed up with Erica getting on here and telling us Safaree ain't as he wasn't is the point at which you wedded him, and he ain't as currently you assumed. Subscribe Celeb Hut for more videos.